107 The Bone.
Yeah, it's Scotty Brilliant there.
This is Scotty Brilliant.
Hey, it's Glenn Danzig.
Mr. Glenn Danzig, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. First of all, thank you for calling in. I know you're, I'm sure, pretty busy doing the interviews, getting ready to, kick off the other leg of the tour. But I want to ask you, how's the 25th anniversary tour going so far?
It's pretty crazy. I'm actually leaving for Europe in a couple days.
Yeah, I saw that. You got the European dates coming up. And whose idea was it for this 25th anniversary? Was it yours or?
Me?
It was you? Yeah.
No, I thought it was a cool idea. We were going to do something with Ruben with the first record, but I don't even know if he actually has a real label anymore. If it's a real functioning label, and so I just decided to do it on my own without him.
Sometimes you just got to do it yourself.
Yeah, I don't wait for people,
Yeah. I don't blame you, man. You have a couple of weeks off in between the tour. Are you home now? Or are you doing a little relaxing? Or
no, doing crazy, working. I run like a couple of different companies, not a couple, like probably 5 different companies. So I mean, I'm always busy.
Well, and about the tour too. It's awesome that Doyle's back. So who are some of the other friends that are going to be joining you on stage?
Doyle.
Just Doyle? Yeah. So maybe the special guest was just him?
Yeah, well, it's basically Doyle comes, Danzig comes out. It's me, Tommy, Victor, on guitar,
yep.
Johnny Kelly on drums, and Steve Zing on bass. And then Doyle comes out later, and we just fly into a Misfit set.
That's badass.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do this anymore. This is pretty much, I think, the last time.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, once this 25th anniversary thing is done, yeah, I got to concentrate on other stuff, and this was cool, and it's always a lot of fun having Doyle out there on stage. But after this, I think it's time to move on.
Wow. So for fans, this is the last time that they'll see you guys?
I think so,
wow.
Probably. I mean, there is talk of maybe doing a couple legacy shows in Europe, but that's not here in the States,
There's only one East Coast date, right? Just the one at the Sands Event Center in Bethlehem, correct?
Yeah. Right now, there's I think. Well, Toronto is Toronto East Coast. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it is.
Count.
I think it's somewhere up in Canada.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The Sands Event Center, great venue, fairly new. You guys are going to sound incredible there on August 13th. And, being a New Jersey native, as myself, do you find it, not more pressure, but do you like playing for an East Coast audience? Is it different than playing for anywhere else, or are you kind of indifferent because you've been touring for so long?
No, you know what? Each place has its own, vibe. Of course, L.A. is a little different than New York. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, America in general is much different than Europe.
I bet. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Different reception as far as, when you're playing, afterwards or...
Yeah, no. Well, of course, touring is a pain in the ass over there. But here in America, you have just crazy, massive, violent pits, And in Europe, it's just starting to get, pits. I think this last time we were in Sweden at Metaltown, it was actually pits going on. It was great.
That's awesome. So
felt at home.
Yeah, it's us Americans. We're the violent ones, right?
Yeah, normally they jump up and down, or they're going crazy and stuff. It's just very rarely do you see a pit over there.
So I'm sure you're going to be glad to get back into the States, and the Sands Event Center is your first U.S. date coming out of Canada, right?
It's the first date coming out of Canada. We have the heavy MTL thing, and then we have the Toronto show, and then we come right down into Bethlehem.
That's cool. Now, did you guys plan it that way? Because, you being from the East Coast, or is that just how it worked out?
It's just how it worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we played Allentown a while ago, but I don't think I've played Bethlehem since the Misfits. It was like some small 4th Street saloon or something.
Wow, okay.
And it was, you did 2 sets a night, 2 nights. We'd come in and play 2 nights and do 2 sets a night.
You've been in the music industry for a long time. The Misfits shows where you're playing for a small, crowded room, everybody's sweaty on top of each other, a lot of interaction. And now you're playing for a much larger, you have been playing for a much larger, arena. Would you prefer anyone?
I like the energy of about 3 to 5,000 people.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yep.
It's just a crazy energy. It's not arena size yet, you know what I mean? And it's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people can still see you and stuff, and it's really cool. But, I mean, every once in a while, we'll go and do a club show, like unannounced, or we'll go under a Danzig song title as, the band playing or something. We just did a show in London because our show sold out at the venue we were playing, which was a Roundhouse, and so we added a little club show at this place called The Garage for £6 and 66p, And,
that's crazy.
And it's, it was like 400 or 500 people, whatever it was, It was no room. I mean, the stage was tiny, and my garage is bigger.
Well, it'd just be madness if you guys did something like that out here,
Yeah, we do it. We do it in L.A. occasionally. We did it in New York. We went in and played a smaller place once on Danzig 4. We do it out here in L.A. Occasionally, we'll go up on the Strip and just take over the Whiskey or the Roxy or something, and just do a cheap show. Yeah.
But I also read that obviously your last release was back in 2010, and I read that you guys are going to be working on new stuff when the tour ends. Is this still the plan? Are you writing while on tour? Or are you guys?
Yeah, well, I've got my covers record is about to come out. I just doing a new deal for distribution.
Okay.
So I left my other place. It's a great thing about having your own label. You can just, you're not happy, you can just leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm in the middle of doing a deal for that, and the covers record hopefully come out before Christmas. And then, we've already started working on new Danzig stuff.
Any time frame, or just kind of?
No, you know how I am. Is when it's done, it's done.
Now, I guess along those lines too, being I don't know, without sounding too corny, a rock god, an icon in metal music and punk music. Do you have bands hitting you up all the time for advice, maybe asking them for your opinion on things, asking to produce them or something, or do you kind of lay out of that territory?
If it's somebody I know and they ask me for advice, I'll give them advice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just really, they're the one that has to make the decision in the end. I'll just tell them how it is,
Yeah.
and what they need to do, and to make sure they don't get screwed and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get involved in the music industry nowadays, it's kind of like it was in the 70s, where they want everything. They want a piece of your gate, they want a piece of your merchandise, they want a piece of everything.
Yep.
So it's kind of you might as well just do it on your own, go out there and build an audience, and then you got a little more bargaining power if you decide you do want to go with a major label.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, but there's really no need for it so much anymore with the internet.
Yeah, you get famous on YouTube now, right? You being in the scene for, quite a while, and then you've seen some changes in the industry, because punk music is, I think, a little bit different than it was back in the day. And do you like the way it's going? No, not at all. I didn't expect
no punk music anymore.
No, I know. I was doing the air quotes, but you didn't see it.
Yeah, no, there is no punk music anymore. The bands that played it back in the day, they did a great job. But the newer bands that call themselves punk, they're not punk.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they don't have the attitude. They don't have the whole thing. It's like somebody's idea of punk.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that whole genre of music has just been broadened too much. Where like you're saying, there is nothing that's punk anymore, because that stood for more of a movement than the sound of the music, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Was the one thing that I wanted to ask you about? I read that you've been practicing martial arts now for a long time, right? A couple of decades.
Yeah, of course. When I was a little kid, me and my friends, we all had karate clubs and stuff. But I started doing Muay Thai back in the late '80s, and then I switched to Jeet Kune Do probably in '92.
Are you a fan of MMA? Do you watch UFC or Bellator or any of those fight venues?
Actually, I like. I'm not a big fan of the UFC, but I like Vitor Belfort. Am I saying his name right?
Vitor Belfort, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually this. I've seen some, whether he knows it or not, maybe he does, but some JKD principles in there. Yeah,
that guy's been in the business for so long.
Yeah, I thought that guy was good. And that was a while ago when I saw him, and I thought he was good.
Yeah, he actually just pulled off a spinning back kick to Luke Rockhold, knocked him right out, the heel kick right to the face, and the guy was out cold. So I haven't seen that done much in any MMA. People are afraid to throw those spinning kicks.
The other thing I did see, the one guy who was supposed to fight Kimbo Slice canceled out, and then this guy came in and beat him in like 60 seconds, and he did a straight-up Chikudomu.
Yep,
I saw him do it.
Seth Petrozelli was his name, yes.
And then it was over. This hyped up Kimbo Slice guy, just, this one guy took him out in less than a minute.
Yep, yeah, you never know what's going to happen in MMA. And actually, there's a gym not too far from where you're going to be playing in Bethlehem. So, I want to personally invite you. I know if you want to come and make a surprise visit to the Hammer Training and Fitness in Allentown, I'm sure all the guys would love to have you out there.
Actually, a friend of mine does the grappling stuff, and he actually took me out to meet Gene LaBelle.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I got Gene to sign one of my old books. I have an old Gene LaBelle book from the 60s. He hadn't seen one, just about that time, and he signed it for me. He was a really cool guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess you're humbled to meet people that you look up to in the martial arts.
Actually, Gene and Bruce were friends, so,
That's awesome.
One of the guys that actually, I think, picked Bruce up over his head and spun him around. And I think the story is that Bruce was like, let me down, I'm going to kill you. And Gene said, I can't lay you down because you're going to kill me.
That's awesome. But, all right, so I'm looking forward to the show August 13th. And I want to ask you, Mr. Danzig, if you weren't a rock star, you'd be what right now?
Dead.
Awesome, man. Good luck with the rest of your tour. I appreciate you calling in, and it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, Glenn.